Howdy friends, Bevan Cohen here, and today at Small House Farm, we're going to tap some maple trees. Maple syrup season is probably one of my favorite times of the year. Now it'll happen anywhere between February to, well, maybe April on the late end of it sometimes. Really helps get spring started a little bit sooner. As you can see, we still got plenty of snow around here, so I can't be planting any seeds yet. But this is a great opportunity for me to get out, get spring started, and just have some fun in the woods. We know the sap's starting to move in the trees when the temperatures during the day are above freezing, but at night still drop below freezing. That change in temperature is what creates the pressure to move that sap up the tree to where the leaf buds are. And when that starts to happen, it's time to tap our trees. So step number one, of course, is identifying the maple tree. Now the easiest way to do this is to go out into the woods in the summer or in the fall when you can see the leaves. Easy to identify a maple tree that way, and then maybe you could tie it with a piece of string or something like that, give it a marking so they're easy to find later. But if you hadn't done that and you have to find it in the winter time, when the trees are dormant, it's still pretty simple to identify a maple tree. Here's the tips. We want to think about the bark, the branch, and the bud. Right? Now, the bark on a maple tree is kind of gray in color and shaggy, as you can see like this. Right? The branches are opposite. That's very important. Opposite branches. Sometimes you can misidentify an oak tree with similar bark, but an oak tree has alternate branching, whereas the maple has opposite branching. And the other clue is going to be the bud. Now on these tall trees, we can't quite see the buds, but on shorter, younger specimens you can. And the buds will always come in little pairs, right? So we can identify the bud, the branch, and the bark. That's how we know we got a maple tree. Now, if you've already tapped maple trees in the past, you'll also be able to identify by using the belly button. That's what we call it here where the scar is from past tappings. You'll see a little circular marking in the tree. That's where we've tapped it in the past. So that's our fourth B. Buds, branches, bark, and belly button. Once you identify your maple trees, and it's the proper time of year, it's time to get tapping.
Andy, what do you like about maple syrup?
I like it on pancakes.
What do you like about maple syrup?
I like putting maple syrup on pancakes and maple sugar. I really like maple sugar.
Let's go ahead and gather up our tree tapping equipment. Now the first thing that we're going to need, of course, is our drill. We're going to need some 5-gallon buckets. We use these food grade plastic buckets. They're BPA free, and we're going to just drill a hole in the top just so we can get our tube in there. The next thing that we're going to need obviously then is the tubing and the taps. We use plastic taps. We get them online from a maple syrup supplier. I'm sure there's one near you, so just go ahead and look online and you'll be able to find the taps and tubes that you need. Order them and they should ship them in no time. Now when we're tapping trees that we've tapped in past years, we want to make sure that we're not putting this year's tap too close to past year's taps, right? That's really going to damage the tree and it's not ideal. So what we really want to do is make sure that our taps are about a hand width apart from previous taps. We'll be able to see where these taps are at. Like I said, they look like a little belly button. You can find that scar and just measure it out about a hand width from there and go ahead and tap it. It doesn't matter really how high or low on the tree that you are. Whatever's going to work for you that's easy to reach, that's a good place to tap. When we're ready to tap our trees, we just want to make sure that we tap at a slight angle, maybe around 45 degrees. Go ahead and drill your hole about 1 inch to 1.5 inches deep, and then hammer in your tap.
Yeah. You have to get past that.
See the little lip?
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta get past that. So you want to wiggle this thing. Wiggle it up on there. See that? I like to tap on the south side of the tree. Now this side of the tree is going to get more sun, therefore it's going to warm up a little bit quicker, therefore the sap's going to move a little sooner. Maple syrup season is going to last for at least a couple of weeks. Once the leaf buds start to open up on the trees, that's when we know that we're done. The sugar content of the sap is going to drop dramatically at that point, and it's not going to be worth our time to collect it. You'll also note that the peepers start to peep in the evenings. That's a sure sign from Mother Nature the maple syrup season is over. But from now until that happens, we're going to continue to collect our sap in preparation for boiling it down into making maple syrup, which you'll be able to see in our next video. Our boiling pan holds about 40 gallons. So we're gonna wait until we have just about that much sat before we even start cooking it down. So we'll build our stove and get things boiling in the next video. But it's important to know that it takes 40 gallons of maple sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. So we're gonna wanna gather quite a bit so we can have at least a couple of gallons of syrup to get us through until next year.
You like that spot?
Yeah.
You want to do it right there?
Yeah, let me screw it. Where's the screwer?
It's a drill.
Where's the screwer?
I don't know, where is it?